your Clawbot is constructed, and here is a mapping of the different devices to the ports they should be connected to. So I have my brain here, my robot brain. What you need is to bring your Clawbot. I just simply connected the devices to the same ports you would have it connected to. And you need to go get your battery from the charging station. Make sure it's the one that matches the number on your robot brain, which is also the same as your group number. And I will give you your joystick. You need your tether cable for connecting the joystick to the brain, and you need the USB cord for connecting the brain to the computer. Insert the battery into the back of your controller, and it will only go in one direction. So obviously with your Clawbot constructed, you have to slide it in underneath. And then we want to connect the robot brain to the joystick. So on the side here are both of the connections for the joystick with the tether cord and the USB cord for connecting to the computer. I've connected the other end to the joystick and the other end of the USB cord to the computer. And now you need to open VexOS. So in the Windows search bar or search window, type VexOS and open it. Looks like this. Okay, and now I need to power on my robot brain. So I'm going to go ahead and hit power. And it tells me, at first it said the remote smart driver needed to be paired with the joystick. And you can see those are red. And that's probably because something needs to be updated. We'll see, it's that or the battery. But we'll go ahead and look at our VexOS. What I want you to do first is change the robot name to your group number or the number that is on that robot brain. So this one's going to be group 13 because I have number 13 on my robot. And just hit enter. And there it goes. And it does need an update. Looks like it needs an update on anything that's yellow. So this smart radio and this motor, they both need to update. So I hit install, and you can see on the brain that it's installing the updates. So make sure you don't unplug anything until you hear that. And in this case, I have a motor rather that needs to be updated yet. So I'm going to try to install the update again. Usually it will update everything. So I did end up swapping out the motor for a new one, and all is well. This is the image that you need to upload to the firmware update assignment. You'll find that firmware update assignment right here in your first steps, parts inventory you did, Clawbot build, and this is an image showing you the motor and sensor setup. And right here is the assignment updating firmware. So just have your window open. You could take a picture with your iPad and start assignment. And this is just written instructions for how you update your firmware. And your image should look something like this. So go ahead and submit that. Your firmware only needs to be updated one time, so chances are You won't need to do this again unless for some reason your robot brain sends you the message on its screen that it does need to be updated. So this activity then is done, and I will be checking to make sure that you have the correct devices connected to the correct port. Otherwise, your programs are not going to run correctly. Since you'll be doing your work on the desktop computers, you'll want to go to cs2n.org from your desktop in order to download the programs you're using. So open Chrome and do a search for Pulaski Canvas. And the link will be the first one, the Google sign-in. That should take you to your Canvas. And if you want a nice, easy shortcut, just make your window a little smaller. And you can just grab the address and drag it to the desktop. If this shows up as an Edge icon like this, then you want to change your default browser to Chrome. So down here, if you just type default or start to type default, you'll see default apps comes up, and we can just go here. Yours will say Edge, and you'll click there and choose Chrome instead, and it'll ask you if you're sure, and you'll say yes, you're sure, and then you're all set. So then this Forevermore will open your dashboard for Canvas. So here we have Canvas. Okay, so into our robotics class, I'll make this larger again. And what we have done at this point is finished your parts inventory, finished your Clawbot build, checked to make sure your motors and sensors were correct, and you updated your firmware. So some already started the unit lessons, so you might be on Unit 3 already, but if you did not, then just start with your lessons. Unit 1 has the firmware update in it. You're simply going to watch the videos and take on the educational information they give you, and then take your quiz in Unit 1. The second unit is the Boulder Math assignment, and that's the one where I mentioned you will have a choice of putting your settings at easy, medium, or hard, and will be graded accordingly. And I'll go back. Everything will be listed right in order. So the next thing is Unit 3, and that's where we start our programming. So up here, I have a link to CS STEM Network, and I'll leave that link. I may even move it up. I think I will move it up there, and you'll have a nice easy link then to the site where you need to log in. Okay, so sign in and use Google. And I am jumping now to Unit 3 because here we were just watching the videos, taking in the information, and then finally the quiz at the end and the Boulder game. And now here you actually have to do some programming. So this page just simply tells you that you're building the Clawbot. So I had you do that already. So next, and now we have our first program. So anytime you're creating a program for running the robot, downloading and then running on the robot, you have a choice here, at least initially, a choice here of downloading the program, the blank program that you're going to add information to. So we obviously have the physical robot, not the virtual. So you'll download it. Make sure you're watching the video. This I can tell you, happens to tell you to change the amount of rotations to 3 and 50 for speed. So that's like half speed. So it downloaded here, and I'm going to click on it. Okay, and this pops up when it does not detect a robot connected. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my robot brain, and now I don't actually have the whole robot, but I do have all of the sensors. So here it's turned on, and I do have it plugged in, and so we'll see what happens here. I'm going to refresh the list, and there it is. So leave it on automatic selection and ignore ports that are busy. And so yours should be just like this. if this window doesn't pop up and you want, oops, that's not good. You want to check, you just go to View, select Communication Port, and I had to click on Firmware Download and also update the brain from within this window. And now I have more ports available. So I say OK, and we're good to go. So here's the program that I'm supposed to finish. And I know that it told me to go ahead and have it go forward 3 rotations. Please watch the lesson. And when you try to download it to the robot brain, you need to first compile the program. And what that does is check to make sure that all of your equipment matches the setup you have in the program. So if I click on this motor and sensors setup, you'll notice that it's on Clawbot IQ, which is what you created, and it's checking to make sure that all of this is correctly connected to the ports. If not, it'll give you an error. And I will download this program now to the robot brain. If you get an error when you compile the program, chances are you have a problem with your setup. It doesn't match how your motors and sensors are set up in the program. So you have to compile the program before you download it to the robot. I compile, and in this case, it looks okay. Download to the robot. Oh, and here is my error. It says right here, I have another touch LED. That's an error. Equipped device is different from user program configuration. So I can abort this. I know I did that on purpose, so I know what it is. Go to motors and sensor setup, and right here I'm supposed to have the color detector, but I don't have the color detector. Here in 2 I'm supposed to have the touch LED, and I do, but in number 3 I also swapped out the correct one for another touch LED when it was supposed to be my color sensor. So I'll swap it back. Okay, so now I swapped it out for the correct device in port 3, and now I will download again, and this time no error. And start, and my motors should be running. There we go, for 3 rotations, which seemed about right.